Hello everyone, this is Karen Cornell, your Creative Memories Advisor in Atlanta. And we are just working really hard on our project recipes. And I am loving getting to know you through direct messaging and comments. And we are just building this community. And that was my goal when I started this channel, was to build a community of people that loved preserving their family memories and getting to know each other and giving each other tips and advice. And it's because some people don't always have somebody to scrap with, and so I want to be your person. So I want to get to know you, so please comment and let me get to know you. Some of you have been here since the beginning, and I feel like we're long lost friends. I mean, I just love it. So anyway, we do try to get these done in under 30 minutes, and that's very important to me because I am a busy mom and I don't have time to do long, drawn out layouts all the time. I do enjoy it sometimes because then I really get to use my creativity to do some of the more difficult layouts, and they're very rewarding. But most of the time, I just want to get a layout done and then go volunteer at my kid's school, or, go see my mom, get some housework done, so all that good stuff. But anyway, we are doing project recipe number 20 today, so I'm super proud of you. But we're actually going to do the PR number 21. I know that's super duper confusing. I should have waited to do this one next week because 21, our 21st one on the 21st, and number 21, but let's make it confusing and do 20. It's our 20th, but we're doing 21. And I'm going to flip my camera so you can see this. So the project PR 21 is an Adventure Parks collection. And when I saw this one, I immediately set that aside and said, I'm going to do that one just how it is, because I absolutely love the colors. I love how the design worked really well with the papers. And I always have Disney pictures to do. So I am going to do it pretty much the same. I did substitute this paper because this is the back side of a Fast to Fabulous paper, and I am going to put just a designer paper for that one. It has 6 photos that you can fit on this one. They are using the tiara chain, and you can use any of them. Remember, you're not tied down to this border maker cartridge. You will want to use a border cartridge, a BMC, not a border punch, because border punches tend to be wider, and you are only given 1 inch to cut this border. So I mean, you have a little bit more, but it would be pretty tight. So you can choose to do it if you want to go a little bit bigger. I'm sure it'll turn out great. But I think the reason why I would stick with a BMC is because everything is 1 inch that's under it. And I'm afraid something a little bit wider might be overpowering and take away from the cool layering that you have going on there. But that's just my personal opinion. I'm sure there are BMCs, and I would love to see them, or not BMCs, border punches, that would look really great with that. So share it with me. And I think it would, it probably will look fine. But I just like having 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. And that way it's divided a ½ inch on either side when you put it down. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this done. We are going to, remember, if you don't have the book, don't stress. I walk you through every single cut. You're going to need 4 sheets of designer paper on 1 sheet of cardstock. Remember, you can substitute those. Your base pages are 2 designer papers. Remember, you can substitute, it's fine. This is just a starting place. So the first cut is going to be at 5½ inches. Now, my advice to you when you're cutting 5½ is do not pull your arm out, because that way you have a straight line down here, and that is actually the 5½ mark. When you pull this arm out, you have it a little bit thicker up here, if you see how, and then it goes in here. So it will give you the optical illusion that you are cutting crooked. So to make your brain not go wackadoodle, just keep this arm in, and that will be your 5½ line. And that will help you keep it straight. And that way you can line it up very easily at the edge of your trimmer. So you're doing 5.5 by 12 straight down. Then you're going to do 2 1 inches. There's one. That's going to be 1 inch by 10 inch, but we're going to cut that in just a second. So cut another 1 inch. Then this leaves you with 4.5, and you're going to cut it by 6.5. So you're going to open this up. Move this over to the other side. Gives me a little bit more room. So you could cut this at 6.5. And then you're going to cut a 1.5. And then this is scrap. Then these are all, this one is going to be, one is going to be at 9.5. So we're going to cut it at 9.5. This is scrap, and this is actually going to be the reverse. Then we're going to cut this one at 10. Open up our trip there, cut it at 10. This will be scrap. We're going to do all our flags at one time. That way it'll be easier to do. So we have both the 1 inch strips and the 1.5 inch strip are all going to be the flip side. So I like to keep them like that. Then we are going to cut designer paper number 2. I'm going to go ahead and put my arm in so that I can get that 5.5 inch again. Line it up to the edge. Makes it so much easier. And then we're going to cut 1 inches. These are the exact same cuts that we did before because these pages are symmetrical. Because you have both on the same kind of cuts on both sides. So another one at 1 inch. And then we'll have, this is 4.5, so we're going to open it up and get a 6.5. And then we're going to cut it at 1.5. This is going to be extra. Then we're going to look at our 1 inch, and we're going to do this at 9.5. This is extra. And we're going to cut this one at, why does that not look like 1 inch? Did I cut this at 1.5? No, I totally messed up on this cut. Oh, that may have messed up everything, but let's see. You know, this happens all the time when we're doing PRs with my ladies all the time. So let's see what happens and see how we can make it work, because it's not worth cutting a whole nother piece of paper. I thought that was thicker, but anyway. So we're going to cut this at 10 inches. I think that just means one of my mats will be a little bit thinner, but I can make it work. Then we're going to punch a border first. So I like to get my little mat here where I can going to slide our border maker cartridge. If you are new to Creative Memories and you've never used a border maker system, you definitely want it. It's a definite must-have. You will need the system to be able to use the cartridges, though. That is usually a question we get a lot of. You're going to just punch this straight down. Sorry if it is shaking the camera a little bit. There's one. You're going to do it a second time. to make your life easier, you're definitely probably going to want to do a BMC that does punch separately and doesn't stay attached. And you can always tell if it punches out if you have openings on the sides. If this was all metal to the edge, then that means it would stay attached to the paper. This is so cute. I remember when this came out and I loved it. I have 2 little girls, so tiaras, princesses are very popular in this house. So we could definitely use that BMC a lot for birthday parties and stuff. So get your trimmer back, because now we need to cut some mats. So we're gonna cut a 4.5 straight down. And then we're going to cut another one 4.5 straight down. This is excess scrap. So you're going to open that arm up and cut it at 6.5. You can cut both at the same time. Sometimes I do that and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like it's not worth it because I spend more time trying to make sure it's perfectly lined up, and I could have already cut both of them by then. So then this is extra. Then we're gonna do, oh sorry, that was 4.5 by 4.5. I don't think I said that. So this is by 6.5, and then you're gonna do 4.5 here. So you are done with your cutting with the trimmer. Now we need to cut some flags, but let's lay it out so we know exactly, how we want our flags to look. So this one is gonna go here, and this one's gonna go here. Yeah, I totally took like a 1/4 of an inch. So it's okay. I will make it work. So this one's going to go here. What I might do is trim a 1/4 of an inch off there, and then that might make it work. And then these are down here. So this is going to be the longer one, this is going to be the shorter one, this is going to be the longer one, and this is going to be the shorter one. So now, and then we're going to cut, you need 9 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that is actually going to make it, let's see. So you're going to cut it right at the 9 inches. I don't know why I'm so paranoid to cut this, but I am. So you're going to cut this for the tiers. It's 3 of them. You're cutting 3 off. But whatever your BMC is, you're going to want 9 inches of it because you've got a 10, a 9.5, and a 9. Then we need to make our little banners. So the way you make your little banner is you gently pinch together the little tips. Now you don't want to do a strong crease because that will show a little bit, not horrible, but you don't want that. And then you're going to cut it from the separate part side, this side to this side. So you're going to go from the open side to the folded side. And you can make how big a banner you want. you could make sure they match perfectly. You could just eyeball it. I just eyeball it. You could measure it. But I just kind of take this little extra and I kind of keep it there to keep it as my guide of how much I want to take off. And I just do that on both sides. So we're just pinching these little, sometimes I don't want to pinch in the right spot. It's like work with me paper. You just want to make sure that the corners are lined up. And then we're going to put these two corners together. Just make sure you're cutting from the open side to the folded side. So those look good. Then we have to do these. These are a little bit bigger, so they're a little bit easier to fold. And you still don't want that big crease in there. So very gently hold it. And you're gonna hold it very carefully and you're gonna cut it. And these are not, I would go less, and then you can always cut more. So I would probably cut a little bit more. We'll see. Or I might just take it off the other side. That's how you can do that as well. So you're pinching the corners, and then I'm kind of keeping an eyeball of this and how much I cut off. And I'm just going to do the same amount, making sure you start in the corner. And I did. Okay, so that is done. So now let's get this on here. Okay, now they have it, if you notice on the layout, they have this pushed over a little bit. So instead of trying to keep cutting where it could get kind of dicey to keep cutting if you're happy with it, just slide it over and you can trim the back side. So that's what I'm gonna do. Cause it can get, if you start cutting, it's like when you cut your bangs. If you cut a little bit, it's fine. But if you keep cutting, they're gonna end up too short. So don't do that. So these are gonna be about 1 inch down. So I'm gonna line it up and I'm gonna take it over about 1/2 inch. So my tip right here is at 1/2 inch. So I have 1/2 inch off the page and I'm at the 1 inch mark. And this is going to just be right on top here. Then we have this one's going to go on top. And when you do it, you're going to do it so that it's like halfway down, so that the tip lines up with the center there. Then I should have gotten this out earlier. And then I'm going to adhere this. Okay, so sorry about that. My computer was dying and I wanted to get it plugged in real quick. I learned my lesson that if it goes into power save mode, sometimes it doesn't record audio, and I don't want to go through that again. And then you're going to just put this kind of right in the middle. Oh, this is so cute. Okay. Then we're going to have this one down here. And actually I may, is this the smaller one? Yes, okay. So this one's fine. So I'm just going to put this down, kind of center it. And then this is going to go over here. And then we're going to have our red cardstock. I'm loving how this red pops. There we go. And then this is going to go down here. See, this is supposed to be the same size, but I cut this off a little bit. So my red looks a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch because this is supposed to be 4.5. So I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off so it matches on both sides. This is how, like, when you make a slight mistake like this, it's okay. Don't stress. You can totally make this work. So let's do this side. And then we're going to line this up on the mat because we're going to put it 1 inch up. And we're going to go off the page by 1/2 inch. There we go. And I feel like I can always trim a little bit of a photo. It's more important to me. It's not worth for me to cut everything. So then this is going to be right here. And this is going to go on top. I love flags like this, doing these little banner flags like this. I love it. And this is one layout that really helps if you do use a mat to line it up with the lines on the edges. I'm not showing you this, but I'm lining it up over here. And then this is going to go right here. I know it looks like it's way off, but I'm going to trim this back side. Get this for me. It's coming together. There we go. Okay, so let's take off the mats so you can see it. And we are going to trim the back side because I did pull the banner, the big banner over. So the way you do that is you just flip over and you see how this is off. So I'm just going to take my multi-purpose scissors and cut very carefully along the back side. And then I'll do that on this one as well. Ooh, sorry, that's totally gonna give you a headache. Ooh, I am so sorry. You need to do it this way. It's off the page, I know a little bit. You can't see it, but promise me I am cutting it. It's just, couldn't get it started on the other side because it needs more tape. There we go. So, let's add a little bit of tape here. There. Okay, so this is the layout. So you have, oh, I forgot something. Sorry. I forgot the red. I was like, something's missing on this side. I need my pop of red. I'm going to pull this up a little bit. And we're going to put this on. Oh, so much better with that pop of red. And the only thing I modified was I did make these instead of 4.5 by 6.5. They're actually 4.5 by 6.25 because I miscut, but no one will ever know. So you have plenty of room for photos. So let's see where we're going to put our photos. We have our 4x4s. We have our 4x6s or 6x4s. See, that still fits in there just fine. So I could make it a little bit, and I had enough cards here. Where'd the other one go? Hold on. Then you're gonna have another 4x6 or 6x4 here. You have plenty of room to journal. You can journal in these little spots. You can do a little quick little title. You have room for lots of embellishments. These are cute spots for embellishments. I'm going to wait to embellish after I put my pictures in, but this is the layout. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. I'm glad I made a little mistake so you can see it's not worth cutting another sheet of paper for that tiny 1/4 of an inch. I made it work. You know, it's got, what I call it at my crops is going rogue. So we went rogue today and it was fine. Everything was great. So go ahead and take your handy dandy little check thing and check off sheet and go ahead and mark off the second 20, or if you've already printed and you've been doing this along the way, or which is also 21, because we are rocking it. We have just completed number 21. This week I will be doing a really fun mini series about how I'm packing for a trip with my best friend. So look for that this week. It's gonna show you anything from what I pack in my tools tote to how I'm packing my border maker cartridges and my border punches, how I'm preparing to get the max done while I'm there. And I hope you will enjoy that series. Have a great day. Happy scrapping.